Hey guys, today we discuss the nuclear option when it comes to drives with problems. So there's a couple of drives that I've had that I've recovered from old hardware, old laptops generally, and I got more. And what happens is, a system, the motherboard might go on or something, and you don't really want to bother recapping it, or who knows what's gone wrong with it. So voltage regulators and things like that can go, and it's not worth it to try and fix them. So you end up with some RAM, you end up with some hard drives. And that's a good thing, because you can always use more hard drives, and if you're into Linux, you can put Linux on it and you can keep both systems. You can keep your old Windows system and you can put on Linux and explore that, right? So that's what this video is really all about. So we have candidates here for repair, fixing, if it's possible. And we're going to talk about what to do. So there's two things that I've done, and it works pretty well. And I call it the nuclear option because it wipes everything on the hard drive. So you kind of have to be sure that you want to lose everything you have, all your data on here. But since these are already reporting weird errors, you might as well give it a shot, right? Might put a new lease on life to some of these systems, or some of these hard drives. So, so what I did, these are all the ones that I've collected. These sort of are the untested ones, but they came from systems that were running, so likely they are relatively healthy. And then you have this one. This is actually an interesting story. Is it this one? I believe it's this one. Yep. This one was reporting problems. It's a Samsung drive, and it's a 2010 drive, and I'm not sure what the size. Oh, there it is. 250 drive. And I thought, oh, well, I'd like to save that. That's a decent size. Definitely put a Linux system on that. So what I did is, and you can put this into your favorite large language model, ask the model to explain how to, first of all, identify the drive in Linux so that you can apply the right command line, or basically command line to the terminal. So first of all, get it to explain that and figure out what the system is seeing this drive as, if it's plugged into your computer. Live boot from a USB flash drive. So live boot from that. And then from there, you use a dd command to write to every sector of the hard drive. That's why it's the nuclear option, because what it does is it stress tests the hard drive, filling it full of data, and then it forces the firmware inside the system to mark off what are bad sectors and basically write to sort of a table that says don't use these sectors. And essentially, after the process is done, you might have had all kinds of smart warnings on your system. This one has none. It just fixed everything. So I was very impressed with that. There's another one that I had, and it just marked off the bad blocks, and I could still use a Linux system, use it for a Linux system, so it worked fine. So it's like basically giving it a new life. So these are the candidates that I want to do the same thing to at some point. This one had, at some point I wrote bad sectors, use on a Linux system because of what I can do. But this one's really good because this one's got like a very thin profile. There's some systems that will only take that really thin type of hard drive. So I really hope I can get this one living again. Then we get this Hitachi, and it of course is the same story. It detected read errors on a HP diagnostic. It was a small compact laptop apparently. And then disk error. That's all I wrote down on this one. I don't know, received some kind of disk error. And this one might be bad. That's all I wrote on there. I don't know. Probably got some kind of issue with it when I tried to premium install a Windows, like install, I'm gonna guess Windows 10 or Windows 7. It's most of the times what I use these days. So these are prime candidates for this DD thing. So just ask your large language model how to do that. And it's incredibly easy. It just takes some time, sometimes up to an hour, sometimes longer if it's a bigger hard drive. And these are the other candidates we have that I don't know how they are, but I took them out of running systems, I'm pretty sure of that. So either that or might be that the hard drive is, oh, another thin. Ooh, I like that. This is another one I want to keep. I really want to keep these thin ones because they're special for special newer systems. When I mean newer systems, I mean talking like 2012. Anyway, there's a, you know, a 320, nice. Here's a 160, nice. They progressively get smaller. An 80 from an HP apparently. A 60. And this tiny little thing, 20. And this is a kind of an interesting one because it's a newer hard drive, but it's crazy small. So where did that come from? We can talk about that in a minute. And there's, of course, the one I just mentioned that's I've given a new lease on life to. This one's a Fujitsu. It's not sure what size it is. It's got to be here somewhere. We'll figure it out. I haven't noted. I figured it out earlier. We got this Toshiba. It's an 80 and exactly the same kind of model. It doesn't tell you how. Oh yeah, 80. They both say 80. 80 gig. Completely fine for a Linux system. And then of course I got my own bunch of sticks of RAM that I've salvaged. So what I thought I'd do is just kind of go through the history of some of these drives, and you know, you can kind of pause to follow this. But essentially this is the history of these drives. So this is the one I've salvaged so far. And I wiped it, it's healthy. It only had 45 hours, power on hours. This is like new old stock. And the fact that I could fix it with that Linux DD command, and wipe the drive, and then when I tested it afterward, it was just like, everything was perfect about this drive. So it's like, wow, yeah. And before I couldn't install anything on it. So strange, but there you go. And these are flagged. I made a note of them, and you've seen them all. This is Western Digital, the 640 gigabyte. Just might be bad, not sure what. So we'll sort that out. 2010, and then 500 gigabyte Samsung, 2010 disk errors. We'll have to figure out what that's about. Hitachi, 2013 has bad sectors, and Hitachi 120, it's 2007 read error detected thing. So yeah, they could be shot, but I'll give them the DD treatment. Stress test them, get the firmware to mark off what's not readable, and who knows, maybe I can get some more life out of these things. Here's that thin. This is a 320 gigabyte. 2012, the untested one. These are all untested. Another one of these Seagates, glass Seagates. This is just a regular size one. It's 160 gigabyte from a Vista era HP small form factor PC from 2007. Another one, 80, 2007, from a laptop. 60, 2007. Then there's this 20 gigabyte little thing from 2006. Why would you make a hard drive like this? Well, it turns out this was probably built for a CE product, consumer electronics product, like a DVD or console. I don't know where I got this thing from, but that explains it. So they're designed to run cool and designed to run for 24 hours, 7 days a week. So you'll see a lot of power on hours usually for these type of drives, but they're built to last. So that's the good thing about it. So what do you do with a 20 gigabyte hard drive? Well, Linux. Put Linux on it. And honestly, you can fit Linux on a 20 gigabyte hard drive. Certain distros are tiny. And some of my older systems, this would be ideal. And you can explore little Linux distros. So interested in using that one and see how I'd like to just see how many power on hours it has. And of course we got this, oops, I'm adding spaces. We have a 2006 the Fujitsu 100 gigabyte. We got the 280 identical drives, essentially. And they're both, well, this one's, interestingly, this one's from 2009, and this one's from 2006. So interestingly, same drive capacity and identification marks on it, more or less, but from like probably the start when they first started making them, and they continued to make them into 2009, which is very interesting little piece of info when you do your research on these drives, which is easy to find that information out. And in Linux, you can get that information from an app called Disks in a Mint install. That's what I used. Gave me all kinds of information. So Disks, it'll give you your smart readings and it'll give you lots of information. So kind of equivalent in a lot of ways to what I usually run on Windows, which is the Crystal Disk Info. Disks is your Linux kind of equivalent. So if you want to pause and look at any of that stuff, there you go. But there you go, guys. That's going to be my, let's see if I can get this all in frame here. That is going to be called my nuclear option. What to do with old hard drives. And that's it. Talk to you in the next one. Bye.